Hi, I'm Mike with Advanced RV, and I'm here next to Blue Skies, a 2020 4x4 extended van with a sofa bed, big batteries, big tanks, flush toilet. I'm here in the woods, my favorite place, and I want to share the limitations of these vans and the opportunities for going anywhere. Today we took Blue Skies down through a woods in two-wheel drive. So we're going to go through this field. I happen to know that there aren't any deep holes or big rocks or logs in this area we're going. It's just fun to get off-road. So people come into ARV and we ask people how they want to travel. We ask them what their experience is. We have clients that come in, they share their objectives, they have a sketch of what they want, and we just go to work making it happen. And some of them never ask a question, which is awesome. And some of them say, what question should I be asking that I'm not asking? And then we're glad to chat. So it's a fun process for us. With all of the motorhomes and all the vans, as long as you're on solid ground and you stay out of the deep ruts and stay away from the huge rocks, it'll go anywhere. I've had an extended two-wheel drive on the Sedona Jeep trails, very slowly, watching for rocks. Marcia and I often come back from our trips in the winter and we're in blizzard conditions, and I don't even use the four-wheel drive. I don't even use four-wheel drive much. I haven't had to ever. I shouldn't say that. I did get on a sandy beach in the Outer Banks one time, and I was very careful not to dig in, but I had four-wheel drive then and it worked fine. There were places which wouldn't have worked fine, but we were selective. The thing that you have to be aware of, when I was a kid, we ran around in an old Jeep and it was light. It would, you get off the ground with it, which we shouldn't have been doing, but you could go anywhere because it wouldn't sink in. If you got going, fast enough, you could get through soft spots and get through deep snow and stuff. With a Sprinter, these are 10,000-pound vehicles. We're starting to build on transits now, and the transit's going to be about the same. So anywhere soft, you have to be careful. And anywhere slick, you have to be a little bit careful, but the four-wheel drive helps a little bit with that if it's solid but slick. The 4x4 Sprinter has 3.5 inches more ground clearance than the rear drive, which is kind of cool. It gives you a little more room underneath and a little more flexibility. The Ford Transit doesn't have any more room. The 4x4 and the two-wheel drive have the same ground clearance, but often we'll put a little bit of lift into the suspension to get a little more ground clearance if folks want it, or a lot more. We want to have a vehicle that reflects our personality. So some folks want to have an off-road looking, rugged, mean vehicle, and they're no more likely to go off-road than somebody with a two-wheel drive Sprinter. But we respect that as well. We all have tastes, and we want to reflect our personalities in our vehicles. The biggest thing that I tell people, and I ask them, are you going to be traveling in the West in the early spring, mid-spring, or fall? There are a lot of places and a lot of passes in the West where you cannot go in them or over them or through them without either all-wheel drive or chains. And so if it eliminates the need for chains in somebody's travels, I definitely recommend it. People have preferences for all different size vans, and also there's a fear of not finding a parking space with an extended. We've never run into that, Marcia and I, and we usually take an extended because we like to have our bikes inside. The other thing is we've found that because I'm not a little guy, we have a hard time with the 144. We have full-timers who love it. They're mostly smaller people or single people, but limiting the size based on where you want to go, it may be something that you want to reconsider. I don't think there's anybody that I've talked to that's had experience with the new 4-cylinder bi-turbo 9-speed transmission that doesn't love it. It's more responsive than the old 6. It has more horsepower, more torque. They're all good engines. They all have a 500,000 mile lifetime, plus or minus 500,000. mostly plus. And mileage. The new 4-cylinder bi-turbo 9-speed, we're told it reliably gets 20 miles per gallon. The mileage with the all-wheel drive is better than the mileage with the old 4x4. Blue Skies, which we're in right now, is a 6-cylinder, 5-speed, and it, with a 4x4, it gets 17.5 roughly miles per gallon. The nice thing about the old 4x4 and some of our used ones and lease vehicles like this one that has low range and high range. So right now we're in low range, we're just creeping along, and that has benefit when you're off-road. It gives you a chance to be a little more careful about deep ruts and stones and stuff. But the new 4-cylinder 9-speed with the all-wheel drive has a lot more range of gears so that you actually can slow it down. Marcia and I very rarely stay in a campground. We often stay off the road or sometimes behind restaurants or wherever we happen to get tired. The reason Marcia and I don't stop at campgrounds is that often you have to have a reservation. The people are always nice. We enjoy that. We enjoy walking around when we stay in them and looking at the gear there, the other way other people are camping and stuff. But we really enjoy driving when we want to drive, going in a direction we want to go, and then stopping when we want to stop. So when we used to stay at campgrounds, 10 o'clock in the morning, Marsh would say, "Hey, how far do you want to drive today?" And I'd say, "I don't know." She'd say, "Well, there are 3 campgrounds. One's would be get there about 2 o'clock, one 6 o'clock, and whatever." And so now she's calling and making a reservation. We give them our credit card. Now we're committed. And part of the freedom that we find with travel in the motorhome is having all the comfort and flexibility available, and not being committed to anything. We don't have anything against campgrounds. It's a nice experience. Often people have a concern about black tank emptying, and they might come with the idea that they want a composting toilet or a cassette toilet, and we just explain kind of the mechanics of it. For instance, with black tank emptying, if you have a gray tank and you cook or whatever, I mean food waste, shower waste, the gray tank can be just as foul as a black tank. But the point of the gray tank conversation is that most states have laws against indiscriminate dumping of the gray tank. So if you're going to be within the law and respect other people in the environment, you're going to dump the gray tank in a dump station or something like that. The way we design our tanks, we just have one valve change between the gray and the black tank. So if you're emptying your gray tank, you pull a valve and turn on the macerator, and in another 3 or 4 minutes you've emptied the black tank. So it's a lot less dramatic a situation than people talk about. And Marcia and I get a week to a week and a half before we even have to fill up with water or change the tanks in a van, and in the B-box it's longer than that. All right, we're coming down a pretty good little hill here, but it's no issue at all. I want to stay a little bit away from the sides so we don't scratch up with the trees. But other than that, everything is good. We just went over a little log. We're in 2-wheel drive, which is fine. The ground is pretty firm. Thanks for listening. This was no way comprehensive. I'm just sharing some thoughts. We look forward to your feedback on what we've had to say, and anything that you want to add, we'd love. So thanks for listening, and I hope you're enjoying this day as much as we are.